Hello, this is Barry Wolfe with our newest episode of Wolfe Bites. I'm really excited to have Blake Haggett, who is all over social media, is very active in there, fantastic real estate professional out in Boise, Idaho. Blake, great having you.
Awesome, Barry. Thanks for having me on Wolfe Bites this morning.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Blake, we've known each other for, I guess, a couple of years now through social media, frankly. So you're younger than I am, obviously, in the, as far as in the business and age-wise. So I'm curious, I'm interested genuinely for somebody who's, several years in the business, so not a newbie by any stretch, and somebody who's been successful in the business for several years. Out of curiosity, I mean, we're in a kind of a recession of sorts, a tough period. Have you changed anything you've been doing? I mean, you're in a generation where social media, digital technology, that was all part of your business from day one, whereas I had to kind of learn it from the ground up. Anything you've done differently, but based on that background that you have?
Yeah, so good question, Barry. And I know kind of out the gate, I've used social media for like a business platform as well as kind of the infrastructure and foundation for my business. So,
Right.
What I've really focused on over the last, I would say month and a half now, especially with everything that's going on in the world, is just really restructuring and really focusing on that 80% of my business that actually provides the dollars. I know many of us, look at that, where does your income come from and all of that stuff. I'm just kind of fine tuning the process. I know in social media, you can get lost on these tangents and spend time that, it's really hard to tangibly look at social media and building a business through it to actually put an ROI to it. So
Right.
I think right now I'm just taking that time to really analyze what's working, what hasn't been working, and trying to correlate, did I get this deal from social media versus did they view me on social media, tell their friend the deal came from that. So, right now I'm just focusing a lot on just, fine tuning those processes where we have a little bit more free time, I'd say.
That's a great way to look at it. I love what you're saying as far as focus on the 80%. I'm all over the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, and a couple books I've read, even taking it to the next level, the 80-20 of the 80-20, and just kind of leveraging that. And where do you spend your, particularly now when there's so much out there, so much noise, where do you put your attention? Because it is easy to get, particularly in social media, you could just jump in and spend days and weeks and months and not see that ROI, because that's it's a part of our business, but it's not everything in reality.
Exactly. It's more of, a tool in the tool belt that's a pretty heavy tool, and that's kind of the way that I look at it.
No, that's fantastic. So out of curiosity, I mean, I'd like to take a positive approach. I mean, we're in a tough period. I get that. I mean, we were talking before this. I mean, you're dealing with as a professional, renegotiating leases and rent concessions, and I'm talking to people all day long that are involved in that. Kind of putting that to the side, what's working for you? I mean, there's I think we all have to focus on the positive, and there is positive. What's working for you right now? What's working?
That's a great question. So there's a lot working. There's a few things that are needing to adjust, obviously, with everything we're going through. Some of the things that has really worked for me is, past client follow-up. I know it's something that tends to be very difficult in the business sometimes if you haven't automated, as well as, there's that bind between automation as well as a personal touch, reaching out, making a phone call versus just the template email that goes out to your past clients. So, right now what's really working is kind of that follow-up and assisting a lot of my tenant clients through this process. Have you applied for your loans? Have you talked to your CPA, as well as, how can I help you negotiate or renegotiate parts of your lease to benefit you with your landlord group? And kind of the flip of that, one of my major clients is a landlord group. So I have the ability to look at it from both angles of, it's problem solving. And that's the thing I love about commercial real estate is every problem is different and there's always a solution to it to better help your client ways.
That's awesome. And I am a big believer, in these rent negotiations that are going on, you really can reach a win-win. And particularly like you, and I'm the same way, I work with landlords and tenants, so you see both sides of it. And like most things in life, it's usually kind of somewhere in the middle as the common denominator where you work something out in reality.
Mm-hmm. I think that's really important too, because there is a win-win situation in everything that's going on right now. I feel that landlords are a little bit more in the pinch So I think that they're being a lot more defensive, I would say, just in regards to their income collection. And I think the biggest misconception and understanding from the tenant side is these landlords have signed on the dotted line of these loan docs, and they've got to perform on them. So I think that that's something that has been, at least from my acknowledgement, a big, I wouldn't say completely a misunderstanding, but just the tenants don't know that much about how landlords operate in that regard. So it's been something that I've been trying to navigate.
That's great.
It's been interesting.
That's great. Any out of curiosity, I mean, we've been, a couple months into this, kind of some difficult periods, and maybe, probably the first toughest period you've been through as a professional in this business. Anything you've learned as, kind of you've read the history books, you studied the Great Recessions and even Great Depression, prior recessions, but kind of now being in it, anything particular you picked up and like, holy crap.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is preparation. I know me personally, it's that fine line. You're leaving some money on the table to be prepared for a situation like this. And, like we are all witnessing right now, history repeats itself in a different way, shape, or form. It still impacts our economy in similar ways. Obviously pricing, who knows what's going to happen to triple net retail pricing over the next 12 months? Are some of these companies going to shut down? So I think that, the history that I have studied, the biggest thing that I'm learning through this process, being my first time through a difficult time, is just preparation, making sure that you've got a decent plethora of savings, whether you're a small business owner or just you individually. 3 to 6 months of rent, saved away. I know that you're not making much on an interest-bearing savings account, but when times like this happen, you can benefit and build that better relationship with your landlord. Maybe there is a deferral option, but you're not panicking saying, oh my gosh, my business might go on. So I think that that's the biggest thing that I'm learning is, preparation, and making sure that your business is running on, in all different ways.
That's fantastic. No, I think that's great advice. And hopefully groups that you're working with were preparing going into this. It sounds like you were personally and professionally, and that definitely makes it where you can sleep at night if you're not worried about, how am I going to pay the rent this month and what have you. So now that's fantastic. So we're hopefully closer to the end of this than the beginning, at least as it relates to opening up the world again. Anything, you're there in Boise, I know it's a great market. It's been booming the last couple of years. Anything you're particularly looking forward to getting back to, maybe even, the blue carpet, following your Broncos in the fall? Anything particular you're excited about to be doing when this opens again?
That's funny you bring that up, because I've been all over Twitter this morning talking about, are we going to be able to go watch our Broncos on the blue this year, and how different that will be. Kind of our conversation is surrounding by this pandemic that we're in right now, but it will be really interesting to see how we come out of this. I think things are going to be much different, but what happens 24 months from now or 36 when we have a vaccine? Are we going to go back to completely the old normal? Who knows, but I'm really excited to kind of get back to, I really enjoy face-to-face interactions with people. So that's probably, if I would have to say one thing, I love taking a client out to lunch or a call out for coffee. I really like that face-to-face interaction, and it's been cool to adopt Zoom into my, not every meeting needs to be that way. So that's kind of what I'm most excited for.
That's great. Yeah, and it is. I mean, it's a great opportunity that we can have these sort of conference calls or video calls, but it certainly doesn't replace that, grabbing a coffee or grabbing lunch, and certainly even conferences. So, well, great talking to you, Blake. It's been wonderful working with you these last couple of years, getting to know you via LinkedIn and otherwise. Keep up what you're doing, and look forward to sitting down together here before too long, maybe at a conference.
Yep, Barry, I appreciate it so much. And, maybe Gary will surprise us with Agent 2021 in February of next year.
That'd be awesome. Good deal. Thanks, Blake. Talking to you.
Thank you.